I am Deanna Garola. I'm one of the career counselors here at SMC. Very excited to be here. I've been here about 4 years, so I've been loving every minute of it and really so excited after 4 years to really, I could have done this before, but I'm excited that this pushed us to get to know departments better and create relationships with faculty. I only wish we were doing it in person, but hey, when we all get back to campus, I plan on going and visiting you all. So, I'm happy to have this experience. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. So the way that this session works, and Carolina, I swear I could feel myself just starting to forget things, jump in if I forget something, but Carolina is our co-host who is going to be handling the questions in the chat. So if you have questions during the PowerPoint presentation, please feel free to go ahead and chat them to Carolina, and at the very end of the PowerPoint, we will open it up to the questions to the faculty. And definitely feel free. We have a lot of time at the end of this PowerPoint. This is your time to get that in.
And excuse me.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm
sorry, Deanna. I just want to remind you, did you hit the record button?
Yes, I did.
Okay, sorry.
Thank you. No, it's okay. Thank you. So we will have the faculty at the end put in their emails so that you guys can get a hold of them as well. So we are here at the Education ECE Career Information Session. This is our 4th one, and we will be going over the Child and Adolescent Development Program. And let me actually make this so I can see it. Okay. So for each program, we will review program degrees and certificates. And I apologize for those of you that have already been through 4 of our sessions. A lot of it is similar, but there are little differences. So for each program, we will review program degrees and certificates, typical career paths, typical education people in these careers have, typical salary people in these careers have, good classes to take to get an idea of the program resources and highlights, and department contact information. Again, all questions, just direct them to Carolina, and it would be helpful to start your questions very particularly so we know which faculty member can answer it. So for this one, you could definitely, obviously we're doing adolescent development, but if you wanted to say, hey, Flor, the academic counselor, this is an academic counseling question or a question about my classes, that way faculty kind of knows, who can answer it. I'm sure all of them can answer many questions, but so I'm going to let the lovely faculty introduce themselves now. Sorry, Flora, I guess you're not on this one. I knew I missed one. But we have our department chair, Gary Huff, Professor Laura Manson, and academic counselor, Laura Sandoval, right? I'll let you guys introduce yourselves.
Hi, everyone. I'm Gary Huff. I'm the department chair for education and early childhood. I'm an instructor in the department. This semester, I'm teaching lots and lots and lots of sections of Psych 11, Child Growth and Development. And I want to welcome everyone to SMC and to the ECE department.
Hello, I'm Laura Manson. I'm a faculty member, and I'm excited this semester because I'm teaching 2 new courses. And they are nature-based pedagogy. So if you're interested in learning about the outdoor classroom or the forest kindergarten, I'm offering the class and there's still seats.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. My name is Flor Sandoval. I'm actually one of the ECE counselors. There's 2 of us in the department. So myself, Flor Sandoval, and Angelica Hermosillo. So if you do have any questions in regards to the major, you can always make appointments with us and we'll be happy to help you.
Thank you. Okay, so continuing on, before we begin, I would like to inform you of our academic planning resources and how to find them on our website. For this program, you will be clicking on the ECE counseling button in order to be connected with an ECE counselor. Again, we will send out, in the last session, we were made aware that some of these links might be a little bit not working, maybe because the website was updated. So we'll look into that soon, but we'll give you, the correct links in the chat, okay? So some class suggestions to start with. We have Psych 1, General Psychology, Math 54, Elementary Statistics, and English 1, Reading and Composition. We offer many degrees and certificates that allow you to specialize in various areas of education, such as an associate in arts in child and adolescent development in preparation for transfer. So a lot of what you will learn pursuing these degrees and certificates in this program will start you on the path for various careers such as childcare worker, occupational therapy aides, occupational therapy assistants, recreation workers, child family school social workers, preschool child care center administrator, and occupational therapists. Ooh, that was a long list on this one. I realize this is still just a sample of all that you can do with the experience in this program. So feel free to definitely meet up with a career counselor or research a little bit on your own. There are definitely other pathways. You'll notice that we've included typical education people in these careers might have, as well as the average salary. Again, for additional information, we encourage you to explore our career services website. The link is provided here, which I realize you cannot click on it currently, but you can definitely click on it when we send you the PowerPoint at the end of this. So let's go over some of the amazing program highlights that the ECE education program has. So first, we're going to talk about the lab school. And currently the lab school is not open yet, but it will be open very, very soon. It was scheduled to open in the fall, but then, you know, we were all quarantined, so it kind of put a halt to that. But the lab school, I mean, the ECE program really prides itself on having students be hands-on from the moment they enter the program. But the lab school is a partnership between SMC and the City of Santa Monica, serving the community while enabling teachers in training to develop crucial expertise under the guidance of leading education professionals. The lab school also helps take the guesswork out of students having to choose a field site while providing childcare for children birth to 5 years of age. It also provides much needed support for SMC parents. Some other student support services for this program are, there are 2 dedicated counselors that help with academic planning, career planning, and academic success. Not every program has dedicated counselors like this, so I think it's really amazing. Also available to students is a teacher resource room where students can receive tutoring, work on computers, borrow textbooks and our activity boxes, and more. The Education ECE program also has a very active student club that allows for volunteer work and participates in fundraising, including raising money for the Future Study Abroad program, where students will have the opportunity to participate in the forest kindergartens of Denmark or other kindergarten programs in Japan. And I've mentioned this before. If you don't know what the forest kindergartens of Denmark are, YouTube it. It's some amazing things happening that I wish we could experience more here. Hopefully someday we will. Lastly, there's a mentor program with teachers from local centers that have gone through additional training to partner with students in various courses at SMC to help with support and student success. What makes SMC's ECE program unique? Well, the student support is unparalleled, as we've kind of demonstrated. There's a range of preparation for future careers with varied areas and more extensive experience. Students can begin work after just 2 ECE classes at 6 units as an assistant teacher in a public or private center. Laura, did you say that it's private only? Is that something I should correct?
Yes.
Okay. So a private center. Thank you. And then, of course, hands-on experience from beginning to end. So we have a plethora here of campus resources for you. We have the ECE website, which I think we're going to actually need to correct. The ECE Club one, I think so too. But I think the Career Services Center link, I think that one does work. It doesn't work? Laura's saying no. Okay. So we'll have to correct those. We created these right before the website got updated, everybody. So, you know, bear with us. This is a new thing for all of us. I highly recommend definitely visiting the Career Services Center website and making appointments with career counselors. We offer 30-minute appointments, and, you know, we can sit and chat with you about different options, ideas, decision-making, goal setting, majors, career pathways, all of that. We also have Counseling 12, which is a career planning class where you get to take assessments that revolve around your interests, your skills, your personality, and your values. And 2 of those assessments print out a list of majors and careers that match with you. So if you're still kind of not really sure what you're wanting to do, that's a fantastic class to add to your class schedule. Okay. Our very last slide here, when you get sent this PowerPoint and you're able to click on these links actually lead you to different videos on different careers in the educational field. So to see that perspective, you know, we really encourage students to do informational interviews where you talk to, you know, professionals in the field to get a feel for what it's actually like out there. or to watch videos. And some of these different links will lead you to helpful websites that provide videos for that kind of stuff. That is the end of my PowerPoint. I'd love to turn it over to the faculty to answer any questions. Carolina, do we have some good questions popping up?
Okay, so we don't have any questions initially, but I do have a couple of questions myself. What is the difference between an occupational therapist aide and an occupational therapist assistant? Who wants to take that one?
I don't know the answer to that. In my brain, they're kind of the same position.
Okay, I was wondering if they have different types of duties or whatnot, but it could just kind of go interchange.
If it's at all parallel to how some, private preschools might work, an aide tends to have less responsibilities than an assistant. So an aide might, help set up and clean up the environment or do a few tasks at the direction of the occupational therapist. The assistant may have a higher level of preparation or training. I don't know that that's going to be the case everywhere. It's really going to depend on how job descriptions are written, because I've seen both interchangeably used.
Okay. All right, good enough. So I have a question from a student. It says, when contacting ECE counselors, is it just over the phone, or can they also be done through Zoom now that everything is online?
I'm putting the link in there for you can make an appointment for talks.
Yes. So we do both. So it's up to your preference. So when you do make the appointment, you can do a request if you want to do a Zoom appointment or a telephone appointment. So whichever your preference, we will do both.
And how long is the appointment slot for?
They're normally half an hour, so 30 minutes.
Okay. And then also with regards to recreation workers, I wanted to know, why would you need a degree to be a recreation worker versus, how you just see regular recreation workers that work there at a facility?
Typically, they're going to oversee the programs at that park of children's program. So that is why they would need a degree, because they have to kind of understand children to some extent, because they're going to be supervising programs, make sure whoever they're inviting in to do these activities are understanding development appropriate practices for those age groups.
Okay, good enough. And then with regards to lab school, do SMC students, can they also use the childcare that's going to be available through the lab school if they themselves have little kids?
Yeah, there's a possibility that might happen. The lab school is a partnership with the city of Santa Monica. And so there are some kind of priorities for who gets spots there. And a large amount of the priorities are going to go toward City of Santa Monica workers and Santa Monica residents. There's going to be some overlap with SMC students that are also residents that will have some priority there as well. And then we've negotiated some spaces for SMC students to be there. So it's a little bit of a mix of everyone.
And as far as the fee, how is that determined? Is that going to be like a set fee for anyone using the facility, or is it going to go based on their income? Or
there's definitely a set fee for the facility, but there will be subsidies available to kind of offset those costs, and those will be income based. If you're an SMC student and you're a full-time student who is eligible for a Pell Grant, there is a program that we have called C Campus, and we can cover 100% of your childcare costs for you while you're studying at SMC. On our SMC website, if you click on the Student Services tab, there is a kind of a subsection for childcare or childcare services. If you click there, you can find out much more information about the free childcare program that's available for students.
Great, thank you. And then another question is, what is the ECE club going to be doing in the fall while they're remote? versus what they usually do on-site?
Zoom. Again, mainly the focus currently that they're looking at is building a community and just having so that students don't feel that they're by themselves out here in this technology world. In fact, they already started meeting pre-semester because they were so excited to reconnect with their colleagues and peers. So they're going to be doing a lot of activities via Zoom, which is interesting. I mean, it has its good and its people are frustrated with it, but it's a light because you can bring in people from out of the country and have them be guest speakers that you can't normally fly them in. So they do a lot of interesting, again, it's really more of the team building right now. And I'm not sure, but they always have fun activities, always.
Okay, great. And let's see. So it was mentioned in the slide presentation that after 2 ECE classes, you would have the option of finding work as an assistant teacher, and I believe it was said in the private school. Would that be the only option after having 2 ECE classes? Is there any other type of job in education that someone would do with only 2 ECE classes?
Okay, Laura, you go for it.
I'm putting your C campus information. All right, so before I answer that, I put in a link to the Career Service Center, so people want to play with it. And then I also put in the link to the C campus. The beauty of our world, it depends on what program you go to. But there are a lot of options. Again, there's even programs at the park that want, I'm going to use the word intern, but it's not an internship, but they want people new to programs, and they would look kindly on somebody's head who has taken a class about children before they say, oh, come on in, here's a job for you. There's a lot of variety of jobs, and if you really are going in this path, in the courses, you will learn about the plethora of job opportunities that are out there that you can do currently. And what's nice about our community, we're a very close community for the child education in Santa Monica, is that people looking for employees will send us the job descriptions, and we post those up. And there's people in the community that want nannies, and sometimes they'll say, I want 6 units before they have somebody in their home. So there are different jobs. Again, you just have to kind of, with the support of the faculty and our counselors, will help you navigate when you tell us what your interest. Because there's variations, which is very exciting about our field.
You know, Laura, I think that's one of the really beautiful but also valuable things about our field too. You know, if you think about a career pathway like nursing or health sciences, you have all of these courses that you have to take in order to qualify to get into the program, and then you get into the program, and at the very end of the program, that's when you go to a hospital or go to a clinical setting, and that's your first experience. Well, what if you don't like it? And you've invested all of that time and money and energy in our world, kind of in this education field. You get to begin practicing your craft very, very, very early on. So you can kind of validate whether this is the right field for you or not after just a few classes and a few field experiences. But we find that most students kind of, that fire is lit after the first few experiences, and then they know this is the direction that they want to be in.
Okay, great, thank you. I have a question from a student. Is it too late to sign up for the ECE Club?
No. You know what? I'll find the flyer and put it in here too. I'll be right back.
Thank you, thank you. And I was wondering, what is the difference between an occupational therapist and an early intervention assistant? That was something that was referenced in one of our earlier workshops, an early intervention assistant.
Okay, I'm going to jump in and I'll still get the flyer. But early intervention assistant works with children and family birth through age 5. And those are children who have been identified with special needs. Again, autism, we've heard those terms, variations, and they usually have what they call an IEP, an individual, well, the younger they are, they have an individual family service plan, but IEP, an individual education plan, whereas occupational therapists may be even part of the support team that helps that child in early intervention. But an occupational therapist typically focuses on helping their clients manage their everyday life. So maybe eating, walking, whatever, and again, it's a spectrum, I can't go through all of it. But occupational has more of a focused task to do. But they can support those families that are in an early intervention program. Hopefully that answers that question.
Okay, great. Let's see. And then I was wondering, is with regards to education administrators, if you can expound a little bit on that. And also, do education administrators have to start off as like teachers and whatnot to become administrator, or can they just go kind of shoot straight up to being an administrator?
They really should start as teachers. The best leaders are the ones who have been in the other's shoes, you know? So the best principals have been teachers before. The best preschool administrators have been preschool teachers before. The pathway is a little bit different. Preschool administration is not as extensive as a path, depending on the program that you go to. There's public and private preschools. So the administration route looks a little bit different. In a private school, it's you're looking toward your AA degree and lots of kind of supervisorial administration courses on top of it. If you're looking at K-12 administration, then we're talking like a postgraduate degree in education administration. So many, many, many years of school. But yeah, you should probably teach first.
Okay, good enough. And then I have to ask this question. I asked it in the last couple of workshops, but I think it's important for students to hear. I've heard teachers don't get paid well. Why should I still pursue education? What are my options?
Or you look like you're still attaching stuff. So
I am still attaching, sorry.
So I think it's important to know education, and not just education, but really any of these fields working with children and families, they're all built on career ladders. And so you can enter the field often with very few classes and very few units, but you also need to expect that the compensation and benefits will be kind of equivalent to that. As you continue in school and work toward an AA degree, bachelor's degree, or master's degree in the field, and then add more and more field experience, you can expect to kind of move up that ladder, and you'll see the positions of responsibility will increase, but so will the pay and the benefits as well. So we really encourage folks that are going into this field to think bachelor's degree and beyond. You can certainly get started with a few units in your AA degree, but if you're thinking about a living wage for you and your family in the long run, BA and beyond is the way to go.
If I can add something, Gary, this particular degree, though, the Child and Adolescent Development Associate's degree for transfer was created for students who wanted to work with children, but didn't necessarily want to teach, right? So there's a lot of students that I've talked to who are like, I know I want to work with children, but I don't want to be in the classroom. So this opens up other opportunities for employment, just like the PowerPoint presented, the opportunity to be mental health providers, social workers, and what Gary was talking about. These are careers that are definitely going to request that you have a master's degree in order to be able to practice. But I've also gotten other questions about becoming a child life specialist. So this is a career that is definitely coming up. If you don't know what a child life specialist does, is basically you work at the hospital mostly with children who are, maybe there for a long term or who are going through something. And so you do talk to their family. So this particular degree that we're talking about is very broad in that sense, where you don't necessarily have to be in the classroom, but you'll be able to work with children.
Okay, great, thank you. And I have a question from a student. Does sociology connect to become a social worker? for kids, it says. Sociology Connect to become a social worker for kids.
Yes, it certainly can and often does, but it doesn't have to at the AA level. So when you're thinking about the initial preparation, there are a lot of different options that you have if sociology is your final destination. You certainly could go the sociology route, absolutely could. That's probably what you'll get your BA or master's degree in, but social work. But thinking about some other options for your AA, a degree like Child and Adolescent Development gives you some of the foundational knowledge that other social workers may not get until much later in their program or at all. I think it's really, really important for people to understand how children grow and develop and the different systems that they're included and involved in, and how to work with and communicate with and support families. And that's something that's deeply embedded in all of these early childhood focused degrees, and certainly this one as well.
Can I add something to that? Just coming from the career counseling side too. I get that question a lot in regards to social work. And while there are social work positions that don't necessarily require you to have an MSW, which is a master's degree in social work, majority of the time that is what's required, especially if you want to have like a more variety of openings to you. And whatever you do as you're at your associate's level or at your bachelor's level, keep in mind that if you don't go with sociology, it doesn't mean you can't do social work later. And if you decide to do sociology, it doesn't mean you have to do social work later. There are so many different opportunities for you. And I think students get very, very caught in, okay, I want this career and what's the major that directly matches with it. And it doesn't always work out that way. So, I mean, there's so many examples of people that are social workers who did not do sociology as an undergrad. Now, if you're going to go and do masters, of course, like if you do your master's in social work, most likely you're going to be a social worker. Okay, so just keep that in mind. There's flexibility, and definitely please reach out to us if you have questions like that, instead of just assuming that that's what you have to do.
Okay, great. Another question I have is, if I need help or support, where do I go?
There are so many answers to that question. I'm not even sure how to begin. One of the most obvious places is you can always go to any of your instructors, and we can help to kind of guide you toward support resources depending on what need you have or what area you have questions or want some assistance with. There's also kind of new for everyone this semester, this terrific online system that's called GPS. And if you're an enrolled student, you have access to GPS. You can log into it similar to how you log into Canvas. You'll actually see it listed when you go to log in on the SMC page. You'll see GPS as an option. You can log into GPS and you can choose to raise a flag. And when you raise a flag, you can indicate the type of assistance that you're looking for. Maybe it's counseling help or financial aid help or mental health services, or who knows what it happens to be. And then someone in the correct department will receive that message, and we will get back to you very, very quickly. So that is another way that anybody can reach out if you don't have an instructor that you may feel comfortable connecting with right away.
I put in the chat the link to the EC Club. I'm not able to attach the flyer. And then feel free to reach out to Kathy Miller, and I put her email address in there as well.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Laura. And let's see. What happens if I can't afford my textbooks?
Hi. So you've come to the right department. We have a very robust lending library now. Granted, we have a little thing with COVID going on now, but in spring, hopefully, we have lending library for every course. I think maybe there's -1. I think that course doesn't even use a text. That's probably why they don't have one. Most of our classes, though, use what we call an OER process, whereas it's an online version of a book. Like Gary Huff is teaching 4 Psych 11 class, child growth and development courses. He only uses an OER textbook. So it's online, and so you don't have to go out and try to buy it. You don't have to go anywhere. It's right there in the course for you to use it. Again, for the most part, we've done that with all of our courses. Again, we've got a little bit of a wonky thing with the COVID going on in fall, but as a typical thing, that's not a problem in our department. We have books for you.
If you are in a class that does have a textbook that is not OER, your instructors will reach out to you if this is an option for your particular section, but we have received approval for students to be able to access the lending library at the Bundy campus by drive up and pick up a textbook on 2 dates. One will be next week, one will be the week after. And so if that's an option for your particular class, your instructor will include that in their messaging to you next week.
Great, thank you so much. One other question I have is about the study abroad program that was mentioned in the presentation. How does that work, and how soon can a student participate in that? Do they need to be here for so many semesters? Basically, how does that work?
Not at all. So anyone that is an SMC student can participate in it, whether it's your very first class you're taking at SMC, your last class, or you're an alumni and you want to come back and go abroad with us, you can certainly do that as well. So it's open to all. And unfortunately, we don't have anything scheduled right now because of the COVID crisis that's happening. So as soon as we get the all clear that we've kind of returned back to face-to-face instruction and things are back to normal and we know that it's safe to proceed to do so, then we'll look to kind of make the arrangements to be able to offer that. I think that the Denmark opportunity, the forest kindergartens in Denmark, is a little kind of our first priority for what we would like to offer. It's been on the table for us for many, many years to get that up and running. And then once we've gotten over that hurdle, we definitely want to take students to Japan to visit preschools and elementary schools in Japan.
Great, that's good to know that alumni can even participate in that after the fact. Okay, I think I don't see any other questions in the chat. I think that's pretty much it. Deanna?
Yeah, I'm actually going to put the link to the PowerPoint. I just put that in the chat so that you have access to the PowerPoint. Laura's been great posting the links, so hopefully a lot of you got those to kind of correct the ones that might be wrong in the PowerPoint or that need to be updated. Does the faculty have anything else to add that they think students should know about the program or that didn't come up that they thought might want, the students should know?
We are here to support our students, and we really want to help them meet their goals. And we really work very hard to make sure we meet collectively for the department, but individual needs. So we do say, reach out to us. I know it's hard when you're just meeting instructors, but we really are a friendly bunch and we want to help. So, sometimes you have to take a little bit of a risk. And I think in our department, it is a little risk to reach out to us, and we will help you in any way we can. We'll point you in the right direction. So we really want our students to succeed.
All right. Doesn't look like there's anything else. So I want to thank our faculty for joining us.
Excuse me, Deanna?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. Did you have them already put in their emails?
Oh, thank you. Yes, if faculty could put their emails into the chat so that students can reach out if maybe they think of a question later or maybe they didn't want to ask it here. We do have one more session coming up here at 4 o'clock to 4:45, and that is the Introduction to Early Care and Education, which is our non-credit program. So that'll be starting next. And I believe we'll have Gary Huff available on that one, but we'll be saying goodbye to Laura and Floor. So thank you so much for joining us, and thank you students for coming. And I think Kenny and Trinidad and maybe Nicole have been on with us for like the last 4 sessions. So thank you for your support.
Yay, yay.
Yes, yes. And something I heard, I want to say this is a baby laugh earlier in one of the sessions. They said that there's always food available. If we were on ground, there's always food available in the education program. And I was just like, ooh, snacks.
We always have to have snacks.
Yeah,
Always.
snacks.
We keep them at the front desk. We have snacks and candies at the front desk always.
I think that's so great. I think that's so great. One of the faculty members was saying that if we were in person, she'd be like enticing students to ask questions with chocolate. And I was like, oh, we should throw stuff at the screen. So, but thank you all. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. And of course, you know,